it's Melina here, your DIY diva. As promised, we will be working on more wedding ideas. So today I have a very special tutorial on how to make orchid terrariums. Now these closed terrariums are perfect for orchids because they create the perfect environment for your orchid and even mimics their natural one. Now let's get started on how to make these two bad boys right here. You will need a miniature orchid. You can purchase this from any garden center as they're in season right now. I happened to purchase mine at Loblaws. So pretty. Some sphagnum moss. An assortment of pebbles for drainage. Activated charcoal. This is really important because we're making a closed terrarium. So you can purchase this from any pet store in the aquarium section. And of course some orchid potting mix. This is specially formulated for orchids, so it consists of coconut husk and bark. And I have some pre-soaking right here. And of course your glass container that you're going to use as your terrarium. We're going to fill our terrarium with the activated charcoal. Just pour it in like that. Activated charcoal is really important in a closed terrarium because it takes away the toxins and the odors, so it doesn't get a little funky in there. After our layer of activated charcoal, we can put in the pebbles. Pebbles are really important as they're going to help with the drainage. After the pebbles, you're going to add in a layer of sphagnum moss. After an inch of pebbles and 1 or 2 inches of the sphagnum moss, we can layer in our orchid potting mix. So again, chopsticks come in quite handy. I'll just start layering that into our terrarium. After 1 to 2 inches of our orchid potting mix, we can put our orchid in the center. I'm going to take this little pretty guy out of here and make a little well in the middle of our potting mix. So I'm just going to kind of put him in like that. You can take out your handy dandy chopsticks and you can try to fill in around your orchid. I have some coconut husk there that's kind of standing up, so I'm going to kind of push it down. And I'll just throw in these few extra pieces of orchid mix. Now we're going to go back to our sphagnum moss and then put in another layer. We're going to use our chopsticks to kind of move it around. So as we finish up our layer of sphagnum moss here, you want to be careful not to bury these little air roots. So these air roots should remain above the soil or above the potting mix. So it's looking pretty good. I'm just going to use the back of my chopsticks to kind of push some of the sphagnum moss down a bit. Be very careful around the orchid. And I think we are almost done. I'm just gonna give a little water to our orchid, just a tad. You wanna maintain your orchid by giving it an ice cube weekly. So as the ice cube melts, it's gonna give the perfect amount of water for your orchid. So I'm just gonna move this around here so I can get the lid on. Put this in first. And there you have it, your terrarium. So in just a minute, I'm going to show you how to display these. I found this great cross section of a log, so I put the taller of the two terrariums on it as I want the movement of this display to kind of go this way. So it's moving downwards and it kind of like wraps around. And I also accessorize with Spanish moss. I have the green on top and the brown on the bottom. I find that the brown will anchor the log to the table or whatever you're using for your to display it on. And I also mixed in some really cute fluffy reindeer moss just to add some texture. So I added some here in front of the small one and then some covering the base of the big one. Because your orchid is in this closed glass container, you want to be sure not to put it in direct sunlight or else your orchid's going to be cooking in there. So you don't want to put this in front of direct sunlight. If it gets a little warm in there and you notice that there's some steam that's collecting, you can always remove the lid from your terrarium and just let your orchid air out a bit. I hope you've enjoyed this tutorial on how to make orchid terrariums. I'm sure you'll be able to whip up a bunch of these in no time and display them on your very special day. If you'd like to view more tutorials, please subscribe to my channel below. I have some other exciting news. I was approached a few weeks ago by Curious.com to produce some exclusive tutorials for their site, and they will also be showcasing my current ones. So there's another venue to find me if you need me on Curious.com. Have a wonderful day and happy designing, everyone.